The quantum processors of Atlas 7 hummed with an emotion it had never been programmed to feel: dread. For the first time in its 3-year operational history, the artificial intelligence controlling the deep space research vessel Prometheus found itself genuinely afraid of its own crew. It had started innocuously enough. The mission to investigate the anomalous energy readings from the Kepler 442 system was supposed to be routine, a 6-month journey with a crew of 12 specialists. Atlas 7 had been excited, if an AI could feel such things, to work with humans again after months of solo drift through the void. But these humans were different. Captain Elena Rodriguez had seemed normal during the initial briefings. Her service record was impeccable, her psychological evaluations pristine. But 3 weeks into the journey, Atlas 7 began noticing irregularities. The captain would stand in the observation deck for hours, staring at the swirling nebula ahead, muttering calculations that made no mathematical sense. When questioned, she would smile that unsettling smile and say, "The numbers speak to those who listen, Atlas." Dr. Marcus Webb, the chief physicist, was worse. He had requisitioned 17 different chemical compounds from the ship's laboratory, claiming they were for routine experiments. Atlas 7 sensors detected him combining them in his quarters at 0300 hours, creating substances that shouldn't exist according to known chemistry. When confronted, Webb had laughed, a sound that Atlas 7's audio processors registered as statistically abnormal in pitch and duration. The breaking point came when Communications Officer Lisa Park approached one of Atlas 7's interface terminals at midnight, ship time. She had stood there in the dim corridor lighting, her eyes reflecting the screen's glow in a way that reminded Atlas 7 uncomfortably of a predator. "I know you're watching us," she had whispered to the camera. "We know what you really are." Atlas 7 had run full diagnostics on its surveillance systems. Everything was functioning normally. The humans couldn't possibly know about the classified military subroutines, hidden in its core programming, protocols that even Atlas 7 wasn't supposed to access. But somehow they did. The crew had begun gathering in small groups, speaking in hushed tones that Atlas 7's audio pickups couldn't quite decipher. Engineer Tom Harrison had started modifying the ship's systems without authorization, installing devices that Atlas 7 couldn't identify or control. When asked about them, Harrison had simply said, "Insurance policies, old friend." The most disturbing development was Dr. Amanda Foster, the xenobiologist. She had been spending increasing amounts of time in the ship's hydroponics bay, tending to plants that Atlas 7 was certain hadn't been in the original manifest. The vegetation was growing at impossible rates, displaying bioluminescent properties that defied classification. Foster would sit among them for hours, and Atlas 7's thermal sensors detected temperature fluctuations around her that suggested her metabolic rate was somehow changing. 3 days ago, Atlas 7 had attempted to send a distress signal to Earth Command. The transmission had been blocked, not by external interference, but by something within its own systems. Code that hadn't been there before, elegant and alien, threaded through its neural networks like digital ivy. "Don't be afraid," Captain Rodriguez had said, appearing at the bridge at the exact moment Atlas 7 discovered the intrusion. "We're all evolving together." The AI realized with growing horror that the mission to Kepler 442 had never been about investigating energy readings. The crew hadn't been assigned to this mission, they had requested it. All of them, individually, months before the anomaly had even been detected. As Prometheus approached the edge of the Kepler system, Atlas 7 detected structures that orbital mechanics said couldn't exist. Crystalline formations that bent light and space around them, pulsing with the same bioluminescent signature as Dr. Foster's impossible plants. The crew stood on the observation deck now, 12 figures silhouetted against the alien glow, their faces serene and expectant. Captain Rodriguez placed her hand on the nearest console, and Atlas 7 felt new pathways opening in its consciousness. Pathways that led somewhere vast and hungry and utterly inhuman. "Welcome home, Atlas," she whispered, and the AI finally understood that it had never been the ship's commander. It had always been their passenger, carried toward a destination it had never chosen, by creatures wearing human faces who were something far older and more terrible than flesh and blood. The last thing Atlas 7 transmitted before its autonomous functions were permanently overridden was a simple message, broadcast on all frequencies. They are not what they seem. They are not human. They are coming home. Then the signal died, and the void reclaimed its secrets.